Everybody doing good? Yes, we're gonna order food. I got my stuff in here. We are served. We're gonna play some music. But we're slow today. Ziggy, good morning. Paranormal, good morning. How are you? We are running busy today, as we are doing a lot of things. And so we're behind. We had to do some motorcycle maintenance this morning. Because we're going on our longest ride today on the motorcycle, about 120 miles.
And what are we doing it for?
We are doing it for the Wounded Warrior Project Memorial Day 100-mile ride. So, very excited about that. I'm going to get some Harknunger up here. Which, if you don't know, literally my favorite YouTube music. So, let's play this album. Get some background going. But yeah. So that is what we're doing. We do not have any of our scheduled normal stuff that we do ready today. So we're just going to talk. We've got some topics, obviously, that we want to kind of just bring up. And then see if anybody else has any questions or wants to order anything. I mean...
Hey, anybody want Panera? We're Grubhubbing it this morning before our ride.
Lord of mercy.
Lord of mercy.
See how your brain goes right into the other thing?
And I can take my herbs. I need my herbs. Oh, what's in here? Is this for me? Ooh, this is probably my Texas bluebonnet seeds. Ooh, it is.
Oh, will they grow here?
So I gotta figure out when to plant them. It's the state flower for my home state, Texas bluebonnets. And I got Indian paintbrushes as well. Planting instructions. Soak seeds in tepid water overnight before sowing outdoors. After soaking, sow the seed 1/8-inch depth, spaced 6 to 8 inches apart directly into prepared soil.
What are you
loosens
talking?
and weed-free. A late fall sowing is recommended, but that could vary with us because we always have... What would our late fall weather be?
Our late fall weather down here would probably be January to March.
Ah, I'm too late.
Or maybe December. Because winter is like January 5th through the 7th.
Who that is?
I'm not kidding.
Who that is at the door?
Hey, Dragon Dancer. I didn't see you. I'm sorry.
Dancer, dancer for dragons.
Yeah, we just have to order food because, you know, we're doing some other things too. So we're going to get much overdue massages.
Yes.
Right after this, and then we're going on our ride. So we're excited. I'm excited. I like doing things for a reason and for a cause. And even though we didn't do it right, I did sign us up. We are signed up, but we didn't have time to fundraise to get a per mile and all that stuff. We're going to do it anyway, and then we're going to donate. And I think whatever we end up doing at, we're gonna just make that donation. Hi Shar, welcome in. Glad to see you back. Today's going to be exactly 1 hour. We're going to cut at noon, probably on the dot. No tarot today unless we run out of things to talk about. But any topic is on the table today. I'm going to start probably talking a little bit about Carl Jung because I've been kind of invested in and kind of going into some of these things that he does a little bit deeper. And so yeah, I'm excited about that. A couple things that I read there, and yeah, can you put that back on the fire for me a minute? Thank you. But so yeah, thank you, courtesy.
Thank you.
Running the shadows. Hey.
Running.
Dude. Can I just tell you, you did not see this yesterday. I can guarantee you did not see this yesterday, Running the Shadows. But the striations of the honeycomb calcite, it now has an actual, like, line. Like, it's actually separated into its own compartment completely. I'm going to show Rook here in a minute, because this is new. Another new development. Look. Do you remember this did not do that yesterday?
No, it didn't.
That is Shadow's fault. Running the Shadows is his fault. But now this line, like it's almost like it's been cracked in half under that whole piece. Isn't that crazy? You're not even looking funny.
That is crazy.
Go away.
I am looking. Don't accuse me falsely of item things.
Put your cell phone down.
I'm throwing this away. I'm getting. Would you like your champagne or you?
I would, thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Bring my water too while you're at it. We got 1 minute. Oh, it's beautiful though. I mean, you know, I like it. I'm probably going to drive up to Palm Harbor area anyway for a visit this week to a building just so I can go to that store and see, because they have other pillars like that. I'm sure they have more honeycomb, but I think she has other pillars. No. It is exactly what it is supposed to be. So yeah. We'll give Rook another minute and then we'll get started. We had some good questions. If you like the music, like I said, that is, thank you. That is,
this one?
Harkeninger on YouTube.
And this one?
Thank you. This is not 52 degrees.
It's not, for sure.
I will. I should hopefully go this week, but if not, I might go next week. I'm not sure, but when I go, I am going to grab more pieces. They even have like they do have blue calcite columns and things like that that are just really pretty. Oh, paranormal, thanks. Oh, yes, it does. It makes me miss too. I'm so ready to go back. We've been going pretty much every year, but it's time to go again.
Where?
Fair. This is fair music. Did I pick the right one?
Hold on. What did I do?
I didn't. This is something else, but I'm going to leave it on for a minute. We probably will get blocked out for this section. So I'm going to have to change it, unfortunately. But that does bring up a good topic. I don't know why it didn't change properly. Oh, I know why. Because it was at the end of it, so then it just started over. A piece of crap. Unfortunately, if I continue listening to that specific music, it's going to block out our audio. So, yeah, we're going to have to change it, but that's okay. Look, he's still on his phone.
I'm trying to bring up the thing so I can read the comments. You know that's what I do. You know this. I don't know why you don't acknowledge.
Oh, this is good.
After all I do with the champagne and stuff. Oh, there we go.
I will look. I want some big balls.
Oh, I didn't know we were on the video. Sorry.
All right. Ohana means family.
I think they have to come to you. I was told you can't just.
Nobody is left behind.
just can't go get big
Or
balls.
forgot.
They have to come to you.
Girl, do not apologize. Life
Oh,
happens.
that's good. You're working.
Seriously, we're happy for you.
Work is the
And
most important
these
thing.
you can go back and watch if you want. You know, you can go back and see them. That's one of the good things about it. So yeah, my hand is doing much better. I still have some grip issues, but phenomenally better. Enough to actually ride the bike today.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
That's like the best therapeutic thing.
It is.
Right
Why are you
now.
laughing? What was funny about that?
I don't know. I got tickled.
Oh, because I can backhand you easier now because it's almost healed.
Yes. That's not nice.
It's not nice. So yeah, does anybody have anything they would like to talk about specifically? Just pop it on in there and we'll bring it up and see what we can find. But until then, I wanted to talk a little bit about C.G. Jung, Carl Gustav Jung. I know you can't see everything in this room, and maybe in some other places you can, but I've got a lot of works by him, and I'm reading back through, which I've read before, probably somebody's locked up 10 years ago.
I see Ma.
I bet it's Finn.
I see Iris.
I hear the little whine.
That's what I was looking back. I thought I heard.
And so I'm going back through Man in His Shadows, which is, if you don't know a lot about Carl Jung's work, that is a really, really good one to start with, because it's not just written by him, it's written by some of his students as well, so the chapters are broken up in a way that you kind of understand a little bit about him. It is a little more focused on dreams in the beginning. The first chapter is really about his thoughts on dreams, and then you get into some of the other individuals that were students of his that are still around, actually, in many cases, and you learn a lot about like his thoughts. Reading it the second time, I recognize obviously a much more occultist flavor, than I did when I read it the first time. The first time I kind of felt it as a psychology book. The second read through, I'm seeing it much more as an occultist style book, because you're seeing some of his investment in where things go spiritually. And I did post today. Okay, why does it keep doing this? Every time I touch my phone, it changes. Sometimes YouTube drives me bonkers. But I'm gonna pull this up real quick because it was really interesting what he said. And so anyway, before I do that, Jung really took his thoughts in many different directions when it comes to this, but almost everything was symbolic or archetypal, and that is something that does really speak to me. But the interesting thing about the archetype is how he understands and talks about it not being just a scientific archetype of a thing, how much of a spiritual and emotional aspect there is to these archetypes, and that is what gets lost. But so it says, modern man does not understand how much his rationalism, so this is talking about like evolution of man, right? Evolution and growth of humankind as a whole. And it's saying we're becoming evolved, quote unquote. We think we're becoming evolved and evolving through rationalizing science and all these things. And this is so close to Run in the Shadows, what we were talking about last week. So fits. But anyway, modern man does not understand how much his rationalism, which has destroyed his capacity to respond to numinous symbols and ideas. Numinous meaning like not spiritual or more meaningful than what it seems. That's kind of the idea of a numinous symbol. So not just a symbol of, but what is the supporting behavior and psychology and spirituality behind it. That is where that is coming from.
Found him.
So, modern man does not understand how much his rationalism, which has destroyed his capacity to respond to numinous symbols and ideas, has put him at the mercy of the psychic underworld. He has freed himself from superstition, or so he believes, but in the process has lost his spiritual values to a positively dangerous degree. His moral and spiritual tradition has disintegrated, and he's paying for the price for this breakup and worldwide disorientation and dissociation. So I like this so much because it is really... My phone's doing what yours does now. It's kicking every time I touch it. It goes to another song.
So
another
weird.
thing.
It's very irritating.
But what I get out of that is really talking about as we evolve, we think we're being scientific, and this is the idea of, well, if I can't see it, I can't feel it, I can't touch it, it's not rational, it's not logic, I can't prove it, it doesn't exist. And once you go down that route of loss of that extra meaning and spirituality of things, it can really break you from the world condition, the human condition. And it likens me to the discussion of, when we talk about, absolutely, yes, especially with numinous symbols, running the shadows, there's a lot of synchronicities in his discussions, but most importantly, in the symbols that he explains, they're not in and of themselves spiritual. But he goes on to talk about this whole thing where, the earth, you're believing in the earth is the archetype of the mother. Oh, I believe in the archetype of the mother, but there's really not a spiritual mother there. That's just phooey. It's an archetype of Earth Mother because the mother is providing and supporting the land, versus recognizing the synchronicity of when you are reverent of the Earth Mother as an entity, you become more a part of a condition, and it just means necessarily that it has not specifically been experienced or explained, and maybe it cannot be, but in our search for trying to evolve, we rationalize out some of the things that give us meaning. And I think that was the underlying piece that I really thought, that really kind of hit in my mind was, we can be rational and logical and learn, but we can also be spiritual and faithful and thoughtful and believe things that we don't actually have evidence for if in your heart they feel a certain way, and that's how spirituality feels to me. And that is something that I didn't get out of Jung, obviously, 20 years ago when I read the book the first time. And I'm also going back through Robert Wang's work with, not going back through, this is a first read for Robert Wang's Tarot Psychology in his 3 books. But he brings together those two pieces so beautifully. It's just amazing. Sorry, I need to catch up on chat real quick. I've lost a bit. Yes, and what was really funny, so the good thing about Man and His Symbols, it's an earlier book. But not an earlier book, actually. It's not an earlier book. But it has other thought processes in it that aren't specifically his, but are students of his. And they give a lot of credence to some of that thoughts. But as he came to his last bit of works and stuff, he kind of lost touch with reality a little bit, and what we would see as lost touch with reality, but that's because he was starting to become more true, I think, to what he really thought and meant, and that was the real content of his stuff. I have not read the 7 black books, the 6 black books plus 1, but I have them, and that is going to be next once I get through to Robert Wang's works.
They don't even tell you what the subject matter is.
Oh, it's Jung.
Yeah, but it just says 1, 2, 3, 4.
It is never ending. Let's
5,
just go with that.
6, 7.
It's really the 6th. I think the 7th is a placeholder. But yeah, he had a really hard time because he was I don't want to say a student of, but he did learn and take in a lot of things from Freud. They were friends actually for a while and had a big falling out over some differences of opinion. I don't remember what they were, but it was in, God, I can't remember. But anyway, there was a big falling out with him and some of their thought processes, and it just completely veered the whole conversation off to the side. And they became not mortal enemies, but they definitely never reconciled. So they went complete separate. Yeah, in Dragon, I want to find it. I'll see if I can find it on YouTube. There's 3 Jungian analysts. One from Virginia Beach, actually, because that's a big thing in Virginia where I'm from. There's a lot of institution related to behavior medicine around Jung, and these 3 Jungian analysts really dive deep into some of these topics. I'll look it up. It's on my YouTube somewhere, but they're so good. They're so good.
Read them.
I will. I have to. They're calling to me, but I've got to get through Wang's first.
No, he's telling me because I said it doesn't tell what it is.
Oh yeah. You have to read them.
And thank you, Paranormal Witch. I didn't feel like putting on contacts.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The books are really flowy. They're not thouist and themist and too far outside of your readability, especially when you get into, like I said, if you haven't read Man and His Symbols, that is a great place to start. also, if you're really interested in learning dream imagery and stuff from a psychological and a teensy bit of a cult side, Man and His Symbols, the first chapter is really good for getting you on that board. He's talking about synchronicity. Oh, we did talk about correct. Yeah, and his thoughts on dualities is kind of what led me to my version in tarot, where dualities are 3s, not 2s. Because in order for there to be an initial duality, you have to recognize yourself as a separate entity to bounce things off of. So that's your 2, and then your 3 becomes a second duality, which is obviously a trine, but that's kind of my tarot thing. That's in my tarot class, actually. It's one of the weird things I read differently than traditional tarot. But yeah. Oh, yeah. There is a really good book called The Long Bag, I think. God, why can't I remember any of these? These are all books I've read in the last couple of years. By Robert Bly, I believe. Also an amazing book that kind of goes into the shadow specifically, but it talks about that breakup that they had, but I don't remember the details. Well, that's Terrible Paranormal. That's a good one too. Why the hell?
Which book they're so everyone
Hold on.
checks this.
It's getting really, really warm in our house. I need to make sure the air's at least maybe it's the champagne.
Yeah, probably is.
Probably the champagne, but I need some air. Come on. But yeah, I'm not a Jungian analyst. I'm not a Jungian expert, but I absolutely love his works and his things that he has put out there. They're very effective in the occult, and they're very occult leaning, meaning he doesn't rationalize occult and spirit out of things through psychology. He includes them in there, maybe in a more distilled manner, like Run in the Shadows was saying, but I think that's actually on purpose. Again, because some mainstream readers, especially in the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, not good, not really responsive to his thought process. But man, now it's a whole different meaning. Kelvin, good morning. Thank you for stopping in. How are you doing today? But yeah, so that's getting through Man and His Symbols again is going to be great. The Tarot Psychology, followed by those 3 books, and then I'm going to hit into the black books. The red book is not a book to read; it is a book to consult. When Spirit tells you to consult, that one's a weird one.
The red one?
Yeah, I have the original
huge.
Big one. Yeah. It's. I've been through it, but I've never read it, but it's. And it's got copies of his actual written manuscripts and stuff in it. It's very cool.
Oh, cool. I want to look at that one.
So yeah, I mean, that was my initial topic. If there's some other topic you guys want to talk about today, pop it in there. If there's a book you want to read or you've been reading, want to share some about it, pop that in there too. I'm going to be reaching out to, again, things have been kind of crazy. But I think we're going to see if we can't get some people on next week and start doing
that'd be really awesome.
Some discussions, because that will be in a stage where we won't have a rush. Like the rush will be gone on Sunday afternoon at that time.
If anybody wants to jump on, we'll hook up through Discord, right?
It'll be through Discord. We're not going to have our little stuff here.
We'll each be at our own computer and we'll do it that way.
Honestly, it'll be a much more Malice style.
Yeah. I think that works for having guests.
Yeah.
And having
just very
on.
simple.
So let us know.
So I've reiterated this every time we've talked about it. I don't want to have guests on here as in like being interviewed. So I don't want to do an interview style. I want chat. I want us to have a conversation about whatever we want to talk about, whatever comes up. Sure, if you want a topic and you want to, we can certainly have a topic, but I don't want it to turn into what do you call it?
Good morning, Tabby.
Good
morning.
Like fanboying, fangirling, that kind of stuff. Like I am going to try to get some people on that might be fanboyish, but it's not. It's not going to be an interview. It has to be a conversation for me. I don't like the interview style, as you guys know. Not a fan of it. I want to learn about what you do and what your practices are, and if you don't have and don't know and you want to come on, I want you to ask us about ours so we can talk about it. What questions do you have? It's got to be something that's interactive with all of us.
Conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, now that that's out of there, Tabby, good morning. Glad you came in. I am certainly taking you up on the Tulsi seeds, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to get some from another really close friend of ours, and have 2 different kinds. So that way, when if we get some seeds, we will share those back with you if you're interested. I don't believe hers are purple leaf though; they're a different kind. But we'll find out.
I tell you, Tulsi's been amazing for me for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on it. I've been taking the drinking the tea, but every day, twice a day, I take the 500 milligram capsules, and it's really helped me to feel calm without being tired. It's definitely, I can feel some of the benefits of it.
Yeah, and we're working on getting our garden. We had to stop because of my hand injury, but we'll probably get back on that. Might even do some tomorrow morning or whatever. But we've almost got our front garden set up, and we're also gifted. I can't remember what they're called. Cactuses, Lapadapa.
Yeah, those were cool. Did we get those?
Pilladilla, Lapadapa, Dilala. I
Hope
don't
we
remember.
grabbed them.
We did. They're sitting out front.
Awesome.
We're going to plant those around the garden, kind of in the front where it's full sun.
That'll be really cool.
Yeah.
It was a nice gift.
Yes. Tulsi is the number one herb that I use in tea in this house. We have pounds of it.
Yeah.
And it's good. You can build anything off of it. Yeah, and Dragon, I completely understand that too. I mean, I get it completely. We, one of the things we are really hoping to do is move this table back into a normal part of our house and get a larger, lower, regular table, and then start having the ability to really do a true round table with people who come and want to sit around the table and do stuff. So not a setup like this, because this really is just a setup for really the imagery of stuff that we do. I'm picturing a completely cleared off almost table where we do the same thing, but we'll probably won't have it as close. We'll have like the camera up in the corner so it can kind of capture everybody. I don't want to say I'm going to copy anybody, but we are copying somebody else, and I'm not going to use her name, but she does an amazing job. I love watching her on Twitch, and that's kind of one of their fireside chat things that they do, and I think it really speaks to what we want. So we'll be doing that. But yeah, Carl Jung. If you want to learn symbols and archetypes and just learn some neat stuff without occult heaviness, but still aligned with occult ideas, thoughts, and things that we do. Benny, don't dig in my chair. Hey. Then that is a good place to start, man, and his symbols.
We need to set up a cooking stream. I think that would be a lot of fun around. Should we do it for May Bomb or do we shoot for?
I'm not even going to say a time because we put that off so far.
I know.
I think that one's. We're just going to have to be. Okay, yeah, we're doing it today.
We're doing it today. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'll be a surprise live because you just kind of have to be in the mood because that's an all-day event, and it organically happens generally. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. I do want to share something with you that Joy gave me, and I didn't open it until we got home, so I didn't know what it was. I am obsessive with things. Lots and lots of things. I love things. I like to collect tarot. I like to collect pendulums. I like to collect rocks and spheres and all kinds. It doesn't matter. All kinds of stuff. I love things, and I like to have my things around me. And I'm going to share a couple of different things that were kind of handed. And these are things that are so incredibly meaningful. You will have to move the hand, I think. They're so incredibly meaningful because somebody took the time and energy to actually create them and make them, kind of be able to use, and they don't have to do that. And it's the thought that goes, like, this is something that will be one of those things that, like she was saying, that I would take with me if the house was burning down after the animals, of course.
Yeah, after the...
Like, this is one of those things that that is just amazing to me. Siberian cedar. So, this is a pendulum that Miss Joy made for me, Hawk Mistress.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Wow.
And this thing buzzes so bad it doesn't sit still. Like it literally vibrates. If you want to put it up there, I'll turn it on.
Yeah.
It gets a little stuck. There you go.
Wow.
And so this is the kind of stuff that you know
I'm gonna put it where they can see it. That is really cool.
that just it's just amazing. You have to go a little in. Oh no, that's pretty good. Move that. Let me see. We're gonna do it like
I want to
this.
show them that, but I want to show them the. Oh, you can see everything.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I know it's kind of hard to see. I'm gonna have to ask for some details on it. There's some bone in this. There's
so cool.
some kind of metal stone, and it is just phenomenally amazing. Speaking of Joy, Joy just came in.
Ah, Joy.
Joy, I hope you don't mind me sharing, because that is I didn't get a chance to tell you because I didn't look at it until I got
Joy.
home. But
Good morning.
absolutely one of my most valued treasures already. So thank you for sharing that and for giving that to me. I'm amazed at it. Like I was holding it up last night when I was home, and it just literally I couldn't use it at the moment because it was vibrating so hard. Like it literally was just shimmying.
So it did with the Dragon Balls
Yeah.
did to me.
It
was
is
like-
just gorgeous.
I'd like to know the appropriate names of those stones.
Well, it just so happens that I know exactly what they are.
The big ones.
Horse tooth fossil, tortoise bone, Lemurian crystal, and black goldstone.
Oh, that's what this is?
Mm-hmm.
That is really cool.
She just put it in the chat.
Those are awesome.
I did not know that. But like I was just saying, these are the things that like that you like. I have tons of really beautiful crystal pendulums. I have a couple that are weird, like metal ones that I love. But these are the things that make an altar or make up your true tools of your trade, right? And I want to kind of move it to the side here. Absolutely amazing stuff. If you have a gift in art and stuff like this, and you use that gift to share with other people, things like this, it is, like, it's going to make me cry. It is the most intense power you can imagine, and that power comes from the connections and the things that we do together. It's just amazing. I just love it. It is so pretty.
That's really nice.
Lynn, thank you. Welcome. Hi. Thank you. Hi. Come in.
Hey
But yeah,
man.
and you know the other thing, Joy, we were just talking about, or actually I don't think I was talking to Brad about it. I was thinking about it. Now that we're doing our new garden up front, and we're setting it up almost as a little bit of a seating area, a place to kind of relax alongside of this little garden area. We're gonna have our little table and chairs and stuff, maybe on the side, but I think we're gonna get the druid stones out and move them and kind of reposition them.
Up there.
I think it's time. Excuse me. And when we do that, I think we're gonna maybe Keith time, maybe in summer solstice, that might be something we do. So we're feeling the need to move them.
Since our Fey garden was taken with Ian, with our tree, we're gonna have to, I think, set it up around there. Also,
Yeah.
to feel where it feels right.
Yep. But anyway, the idea, just the thought behind the stuff like this, it's just I can't even speak it properly. Of how gorgeous this is and how I just feel it. Like you can just feel it. It is what it is. Whatever is encoded in that Lemurian crystal, I need to know. I need to read it.
Yes,
So.
Paranormal Witch, not actively now, but I'm taking a course that will lead up to another course, hopefully next year on Fae.
Taking a course on Fae. Is that Black Rose or?
I'm taking Black Rose to lead up to what I want to do is Blue Fairy. Yeah. Which
Very
I'm really
cool.
excited about. So next year, so I am, but I'm working up to it. Black Rose to Blue Fairy.
Yeah. We actually had a discussion yesterday at the Grove about Fae
We
and
did.
Fairy and all of those things. It's obviously that energy's afoot. You know? Now there are some interesting things that you can. This is one of those areas that I feel like you have to be a little careful with books, because a lot of books mix popular culture in with some of their own things. Oh God, dogs are gonna bark. Sorry, I just wanted to mute it real quick because I can't tell how the sound kind of goes through on our microphone. I don't know if it beeps it out or if it makes it just shatter your ears. So I did mute it for a second there. But
Set this in here.
yeah, I mean I don't mind eating while we're talking either, but it's up to you. Yeah. So a lot of Fae energy afoot, but book reading on Fae is a little. I think you don't have to. You can do whatever you want, whatever calls to you. But I feel something you want to be a little more careful with as it comes to reading, because so much popular culture is built into these discussions. Not that it's wrong to do so. I just, if you do read a lot of books, read a lot of books about Fae and come to your own conclusions and work with the Fae. Don't just. You'll find things that say Fae are harmless, and then you'll find things that say Fae are terrible, and then you'll find things that say the Fae are the fairies, and the fairies are the Fae, and vice versa, and that may or may not be true, and then you'll find things, trolls are Fae, which I do believe that. Like, just so much things. You want to be very careful about that, yeah. So, yeah, we are really running on short borrowed time, so we're like pushing pretty hard to...
And what I'll be working up to is studying more of a tradition, to go real slow and learn about the Fae, and because I messed up a couple of years ago, and I'm not trying to do that again, so I'm taking my time, and I'll be studying more of a Fae tradition after the Andersons, so that's what it's modeled after. So I will be sure and share that if I get accepted into it.
You will.
So I will.
But, yeah, sorry, no, I had to mute for a second just because when the dogs bark, it gets really rowdy. Really rowdy. Excuse me. So there's a lot to it. But yeah. That is that. What else are we doing? What else?
I'm so sorry. I'll have to eat.
Yeah, we haven't eaten yet, so we're gonna eat while we talk. We don't care. Mine just needs to cool down a little bit more. What else? So I've been talking most about Carl Jung and all that stuff. What else? Anything else that's popping up?
Just the way kind of the world is now. It's so weird. Like how things are always in a cycle and go one way and then they go back the other way every 4 or 8 years, or one way and then back the other way. And it never is like really what's a balance ready way. Mm-hmm. So we were kind of talking about that this morning. And why can't the world find balance? Just like
it's lag time
to exist, huh?
Lag time really is what it is. We work on things and we feel like they're getting worse when actually they're getting better. It's just there's a lag. And if you don't look at it from the 100,000 foot perspective, then it can be very difficult to see that. And it may get really bad in one portion while the rest as a whole are getting better collectively. There's a lot to that. Pancakes and sausages sound amazing. I love pancakes.
Sounds really good, Calvin.
But usually we eat before this, but we're just running behind today. So yeah, and we've been talking about cycles a lot, and how things kind of run in one direction, and then all of a sudden, it's swung back in the other direction. But that
way back,
that initial energy hasn't gone. Like politically, we see this a lot with marriage and marriage equality, and then all these other bills that keep make so much progress, and then you get set back so far. But the hope is your setback is either limited to a corner, or it's transitional, or it doesn't set you back quite as far, and you get to make some changes. I think that's one of the things we really are looking for as a whole.
So what's coming up this week? Garden.
Mm-hmm.
I ride today. I think we need to work on thinking about when we do want to do the cooking stream, the Shadow Tarot. I hate to say it, but in case we don't, but we really need to finish those 2 cards this week.
Mm-hmm. We do. And the interesting thing is, we've done the work. Like I've documented my journal, so we just need to do the video. So we'll get to that. I did do an initial recording of the my tarot class that we're going to do.
Oh yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah,
it's really good.
So we're just waiting to get dates to it in person, and then if anybody's interested, what do you call it? Proceeds, because it will be a charge. All proceeds for it will go to our Unitarian group, the Cups group, Unitarian Universalist Pagan Society. At Fort Myers, and it'll be a low charge. It's not like insane. I think $30 for 2 hours, and then you'll get a private link to it so you can watch it whenever you want, as much as you want. But it's just kind of like my personal way of doing it. So we're going to edit that. That's going to take a little bit to come out, but we're going to be doing an in-person one very soon, which I'm excited about. And I incorporate a lot of Jungian symbolism into my tarot and how I look at the different pieces, and even more so now that I'm reading some of these books, that gives me a lot of new pieces and new information. So pretty neat.
Anything that any topics, anything y'all want to talk about or bring up?
At our Cups meeting yesterday, we talked about altars and kind of what they are and what they mean, and why we use them. So that was pretty cool.
Sorry, chewing.
No. I think an elements class would be amazing.
Elements.
A really intro-y one. But the tarot class was popular demand. Left-hand path. That is definitely a topic we should cover. I don't know. I can give you like my personal opinion on where we are on that, but I am not a left-hand path person. I call myself left-hand path adjacent a lot because there's a lot of tenets and parts of different left-hand path progresses that I do believe in. So, but we can real quickly kind of talk about what my thoughts are on left-hand path. So you will find a lot of different definitions of what left-hand path is, right? In most cases, if you Google it, you're going to find something like the right-hand path follows a usually singular but external deity that is in control, an external locus of control, where left-hand path is an internal locus of control. Obviously, the world wants right-hand path because the right-hand path is controllable, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. They don't want left-hand path because left-hand path is not controllable. So in that essence, I do consider myself on a left-hand path because I believe our power and control comes from ourselves, and that we are our own God. And so far as we create, we destroy, we make our own path. We make our own life. There is, to me, no external God that is giving me that life or taking that life away. And so that, to me, is a very important aspect of left-hand path for me. Where I'm not left-hand path is, I do believe in a very strong pagan nature-based religion. All of the, I would say probably pantheist, polypantheist, because I do believe in like the pantheons of gods and goddesses and these energies that are primal that we can't even explain. So that's why we call them what we call them and make them look the way we do, so that we can understand them and work with them, because if not, we wouldn't really be able to as a whole. Now you can, as you grow into it and get further into it, you start working with the energies of something versus that individual deity. So for me, like when I look at two that I work with the most, or have worked with a lot, Dionysus and Carnunos and Pan, I don't necessarily see them as individual entities. I see them as energies representing that entity, and that's how I work with them, is in that face, in that body, in that depiction. But the left-hand path includes all kinds of things, right? Like Satanism, the Satanic Temple, Church of Satan, just the left-hand path. One of my favorite reads that I've probably ever read is Uncle Sednek's Guide to the Left-Hand Path. And the amount of self-reliance and self-correction that you need to do fits with my practice. And I think that is very, very important from a left-hand path perspective to obviously drive your own path. I do not believe it gives you free bless to be an asshole to everybody. Like some people do believe that. I still don't think left-hand path requires you to be a dick. Some people do. I will put down anybody else to live my life and grow. That's just not how I feel. I don't think it's necessary. That's my blurb on left-hand path. I could go into more, but doing a probably hopscotch back to the what do you call it? Altars, because I want to see some of the comments about altars.
And I just want to say, Paranormal Witch, you could get a little one that could be mounted to the wall, like a little. I'll send some pictures of what I'm trying to say because I can't describe it very well, but that you could put onto the wall, like little shelves, and then you could put stuff there, and you wouldn't have to worry about anyone. Breaking anything, but the kids could definitely help you, like pick out items to put on it, but it would be up and in a safe place and not.
We have two small altars right
in
in anybody's
space. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna send her a picture of those. Those are kind of cool. Definitely, and even it could be something like that's in the corner over there. I'll send you some pictures.
Now we have a delay. We have a little bit of a delay, so Calvin, let me know your thoughts on that if you have anything to add to that, and we'll come back to it. But that's kind of the intro. But yeah, I have a mobile altar that I carry with me when I fly. And granted, it gets my luggage pulled every time because it looks like a gun case. But in it, I have just some very basic things. And then, it's just the basic things that I like. They're not even like my favorite things. They're just things that are easy to travel with. But there's been a couple of times where I forgot it and wanted to do some work. And you know what I did? I drew freaking pictures on paper of symbols that reminded me. I did the triangle symbols, the ancient earth symbols and element symbols, and I just drew a couple of things that worked for me, and it works. That's
and you get
what
a little
I did.
Rock outside.
Yeah,
or
just
some
pull
dirt.
a rock and dirt, and
get a little water if you're near any from outside or from inside. And
I actually did a video on this. I think this channel.
Yeah, you did.
One of the very first videos I ever did, and it should still be on there, of me in a hotel room with my mobile altar out. And it's the same one I still use. That was like 3 or 4 years ago.
That's really cool.
So
Gosh, yeah.
I took it out of my luggage because, like I said, you get the little thing that says TSA had to go through your luggage. Because they keep thinking I have a gun stowed in there.
No, it's more powerful than a gun.
Much. But yeah. I keep forgetting that there's these delays. So when I ask a question about something, and then my brain is moving fast today, so I move on to the next thing. So I'm really trying, and I apologize for kind of being so jumpy on that. But I forget that. I always forget that there's such a delay.
I'm actually thinking about setting up a little bitty obscure altar in my office, and I'm just gonna have like a little bowl of salt, a little flask of water, a plant of some sort, and something for air. But it would be very, very small, just on the corner of my desk, and nobody really notice it. They'll just think it's like decorative.
It'll be messy.
Different things you can do.
Things I like. the Levian Saint like, but I have read the Satanic Bible. It's a recommended read. There's nothing in there that's going to anybody that's going to offend you in most cases. That I don't think. It's actually a really good read, and it's got some very good information in it.
Very good morals and guidelines.
Yeah,
actually.
I don't know what Uncle Set. But yeah, sinisterism. We're gonna have to look that up because that's one. She's so mad we won't pick her up. Somehow I hit the mute thingy again. Sorry. I hit the space bar on my keyboard and the mouse was over the mute button. It was only for a few seconds, I think. So you should be able to hear me again now. Yeah. This is why we don't eat on stream.
That's one of the reasons we don't eat on stream.
My box was hitting the space bar, so it probably was like turning it on and off really fast, and now it should be bad.
Sorry.
I've done that before, so hopefully it was just for a few seconds.
I was really interested in hearing.
Before you say that,
yes,
I just want to point out that I don't know if you heard it, but we're going to look into sinisterism. Want to look that up because that is something I haven't heard before. But go ahead. I just don't want to, in case I got missed.
No, I said one thing that I really enjoyed in our talk yesterday was hearing from people that were actual initiates of different paths, and then telling how I think that's really nice. Like I would obviously I want to look at Blue Rose Fairy, right? But I think that's really nice to learn the ways of a path, but to have also the initiates, tell us that at the end of the day, you don't have to follow what that path actually is, to do what feels right and what calls to you. So I think it's really nice to be a part of that if you want to be a part of a path and be initiated into it, but ultimately to then take and do what's right for you by your intuition, by your feeling, by what the universe or by what spirit is, your guides are telling you. I really enjoyed that part of our conversation.
Yeah, and interestingly, like I have desires to learn about multiple different facets and things, but I don't have a desire to actually get into per se, initiate into a path. It's always been a little weird for me. Like I just don't particularly like it, but I want to learn about it and I want to know about it and I want to be like, oh, I like that. I want to incorporate that. One of the ones that really spoke to me was the Temple of Witchcraft. But it is a little bit too hierarchical and a little bit too... It's great. I'm not knocking it at all. I know some people, like, it's amazing. It really is. There's nothing I can say bad, but for me, just a little bit too... level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6. It doesn't work for me. So...
I have to make a quick call.
Okay.
So
Okay. Rook's going to step off for a minute and leave me. That is one of the things I wish we had more engagement in our groups too. I want to know more people in real present life and online who are willing to have conversations and talk about it. Kelvin, for example, if you're interested, we are going to start bringing some people on to have discussions. It can be audio only or video and audio, to have some discussions about some of these things and wanting to hear different people's interpretations. So I don't want to ever become the one that tells you guys what my interpretation of everything is. But that's all I can tell you from here is my interpretation. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but I would love other people to get on and start sharing their interpretations of some of these practices, because that's kind of how you grow, to me, you know? That was a quick call.
It's handled. Thank goodness. Yeah. I just had to check because it could have been something very serious.
Yeah. Fair enough. Look at that dog.
It's okay, Mom. We're almost done.
She's so mad. Dragon, same. Like it's the rigid structure is what. Yes, the rigid structure is what gives me the heartache and the angst. It is one of the things I love about being in something like. Well, first the UU is actually growing on me hardcore itself, because Rebsu is freaking awesome, and that is, makes a lot of it. But that's one of the things I've been enjoying about Cups more lately, as we're starting to grow back in and having conflict. That has been nice. We're starting to learn and grow a little bit more in that, and starting to look at ourselves and make changes, which I think is really great. But when it's rigid, I just can't. I don't function well in it. And it's not because I don't like structure. I love structure, but I have enough of it.
Oh God,
I've got enough structure.
Geez.
I don't need it. I need. Yeah. Let's talk about it and have some fun with the stuff that we do. Tabby, that sounds amazing. I would love to hear about that too. We never really studied Hinduism, but we did read a little bit about it, and we did engage in some of the practices just to learn it a little bit, but didn't speak to me as a personal path, but it is beautiful. It is a very beautiful religion. So, Kelvin, Taoism. Very little I know about Taoism, but I think that seems to be a common thing. Like, a lot of left-hand people start in some of those types of things, like Taoism and I don't even know what other ones there are at the top of my head, because now I'm getting a little buzzy. This is this the Prosecco or the Brut?
I think it's I don't know. I'll look. I don't want to fire off an answer.
Who makes it? I forgot.
Asti.
Oh, that's what it is. So it's an Asti. It's Martini and Rossi's Asti. It's the main one we use each week that we drink. And it is good. Mm. So, but yeah, those are the things that I find fascinating, Kelvin, is just what, kind of what took you from Taoism and said, hey, left-hand path is where I want to go.
No, ma petite.
She is mad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about Taoism.
I don't know where she went. She's over there.
Staring at me like I'm an evil person. Absolutely, running the shadows. That's even bigger piece of it.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, that might explain some of the reasons some groups disintegrate in the first place, because they get so ingrained in their path and their focus becomes so laser focused that anybody that comes in and blocks any part of that laser focus has to be swept aside so they can get back on that focus. There's one thing that I hope I never do, and if I do, hopefully somebody tells me, because I definitely want to keep an open mind on that stuff.
Definitely, that's how you learn.
Mm-hmm.
Ma. No, ma'am.
Yeah. They have some very, very beautiful stories for sure. So we got about 10 minutes left for today. Our apologies. We booked things crazy this weekend, but
we still wanted to jump on.
Yep, still wanted to jump on.
Do service.
And have some conversation, but we'll be hacking off here right at 12. Absolutely. Running the shadows. That kind of reminds me, too, of the whole idea of do we exist outside of ourselves? And the arguments for both. That's a very good conversation.
Oh.
Um,
Everything.
that is really neat.
Ooh,
Yeah,
cool.
I love that. Look into everything, absolutely. And Dragon, that's a huge piece of it, right? You learn as you go through stuff. Most people do have like a one main path. Like, I don't know what mine is, to be honest. It's just eclectic, and it changes quite a bit. But and that can change over time. But then pulling in some of those other things to kind of see where you are. That's always neat. Joey, we are doing the Wounded Warrior Project fundraiser 100-mile motorcycle ride today. So that is our main squeeze for the day. We got up this morning a little late after yesterday, which was great, by the way. We had so much fun last night, but I didn't get up till 8, and I normally get up at 5:30, even without an alarm. And so I had to go out and rest a minute and then get our bikes ready, our motorcycles ready for, do a little maintenance, get the air pumped up, get the tires done, and the chain cleaned and oiled and all that stuff, so that we can do that. But
So talking about the left-hand path a little bit, that is one thing about the left-hand path that I absolutely loved, and it's like get out, try new things, explore your area, learn your area around which you live, but live life and kind of do what you want to do. And that goes back to like doing the motorcycles and stuff, and that's just like so much freaking fun.
Yep.
The guns, I mean, we're not typical. I don't think. I don't know if there's a typical anybody. I don't think, but we're gay, but we're for gun rights. We like motorcycles. We like just being normal, just being people. Right? And the left-hand path, I think, speaks a lot to that. And that is what I took from that. And it's just like, try stuff. Like, you never know how long you got.
Never know.
Enjoy every day and do something fun. Take a walk, go out, call somebody if you want to. Don't call somebody if you don't want to.
Yeah.
And get away from guilt of things, I think.
Yeah, or the other flip side of it too is, and this is something that I think I feel like I've grown in a lot lately, and I have a lot more to do, but I'm much more comfortable saying how I feel about something because it's not that I don't care about hurting others' feelings. It's that I don't care if they don't allow me to have a discussion of my feelings, right? So I'm much more free now with saying how I feel about something or throwing out my opinion when it's different from somebody else's, with the hope that they don't care. They shouldn't care that our opinions are different or that we approach things a different way. We're just expressing two different viewpoints, and we just go to the next topic. And that's how the conversation really should go, in my opinion.
Oh my gosh,
in a
it's
free world.
So much better. Like the best thing in this digital world and stuff, like instead of mostly the one-sided, because they're not, what's the right word, occurring in real time, like is to sit down and have just conversations with people, especially like that you
Last
do
night?
not agree with.
Oh,
yeah, we pretty much
we're on the same page,
but I'm talking about like, God, I can think of one recently with a nurse at work. It was more of a conservative, and when you just get down and talk as human beings, you really connect on a level that you're so similar, and it's nice to hear it. I actually enjoy talking to people with different points of view more, because you have an opportunity to learn, you have an opportunity to modify your stance, or you have an opportunity to reinforce your stance on an issue.
Yeah.
But it's that real-time communication in the form of a conversation that gets out of the digital and into the here and now. It's really nice. I don't know why I went there, but I felt to say it.
I know what you mean, and not necessarily even out of the digital, but into the synchronous space. So we do a lot of asynchronous discussions, and when you're asynchronous, it gets you off kilter. Texting is pseudo-synchronous because sometimes somebody's right there to respond, sometimes they're not. If you have a really quick chat back and forth, you can kind of get the thing. But in most cases, you can't. Now, a live video feed like this, you can. You can have that synchronous, same-time conversation and have some input. But Outside of that, it gets a little difficult.
I like
That's
that.
a very good point.
I like that dragging the crooked path here, there, and everywhere and learn all the things.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it.
Yep. So we would love to do tarot, but we obviously don't have time. We shared that, and I am so glad you guys decided to stop in on this Memorial Day weekend. Regardless of your thoughts on peace, war, love, indifference, justice, and all of those things, it is a weekend where we remember those that, right or wrong, like it or not,
They never made it home.
Never made it home. And if we disagree with their reasons, we can still do that while still respecting and having memorial for them.
And honoring them.
And honoring them, yes. Yeah. So do with that what you will. But I love and appreciate that everybody stopped in today, even for this short time. I think next week we'll plan to maybe go long.
Okay.
We'll plan to go a little long next week, and we'll do some fun tarot.
Make it up.
I'm going to talk to... I want to probably message Victor today because I want to see if he's available next week. Because if so, then we'll go ahead and do that next week.
And then I wonder if a certain someone would like to come on and explain about the balls.
Remember, you don't have to do video.
Yeah. I don't know, that person can let us know if they would like to come and talk about the what they do. They're pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah. So we're going to see if Mr. Victor's available next week. If he is, we'll do that because we can't do it in this setting. We have to do it differently. But if he is not, or if we need to set up another week, then again, we're open. Dragon or anybody, whoever wants to come down, just let us know. And we'll get moving on some stuff.
I'm so happy for you, maybe. I'm so happy for you, Paranormal Witch, that you're working, and I hope you like it. And I hope that it provides for what you need.
100%.
That's really awesome. Maybe.
Well, you are all amazing. We will do our fun favorite spot just because Rookie won't not do it.
I will not ever not do it.
I'm so happy for you. Maybe. I'm so happy.
You're special.
I can never make it get... I have to wait a minute, y'all.
Yeah, the delay
Gonna
is
be some
so
big balls. Yes. Tiggo balls. Ah, here we go.
Absolutely, Dragon. I'm gonna message him right after this and see what his thoughts are. And again, if not, you guys are always welcome. It's just when we do this on the video, like have a guest on, we can't do it in our main room, so then it would be hard to have multiple people on and both. We can't do both. We can't do the in person and the remote. We haven't figured that out yet. We're not smart enough.
That's awesome.
Maybe somebody can.
That's awesome, Lynn. And that's one of the people I was speaking about. It was really nice to hear. As someone who's always kind of been seeking that initiation or path, it's nice to hear from you and others who have been and get your perspective.
Yes.
And
it's huge.
Knowledge on that. But I would like for you all, please check out these awesome creators, can't talk, witches and wonderfuls, from the Cauldron Witch on Instagram and from the Cauldron Witch Tarot on Instagram. Follow her, like her, so you can see when she goes live. It is an awesome experience. She gives readings that are on point and just fire, fire, fire. Paranormal Witch on YouTube and Lady Rose 819 on Instagram. Check her out on Instagram. Follow her. She puts out awesome blogs every week. Even being a busy mama and working, she puts out some informative and well-researched blogs. Unexplained Possibilities on YouTube and Unexplained Possibilities on Instagram. We all know and love Melvin, and he has some awesome interviews and podcasts on all things unexplained and unexplainable. Ziggy Dreadful, Queen Ziggy on Twitch. You are just going to have a treat because if you watch her on Twitch and communicate with her, she's likely to ask you to join in a game, and it's a lot of fun. Awesome, awesome lady. Also, Mavethel on Twitch. Adius Dade. Well, I don't know what the names are anymore. Is this still right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not being ugly. Adius Dade on Twitch and Instagram. Mr. Malice on YouTube. And Adius Dade on Facebook and Twitter. Along with this guy sitting next to me. They do a Friday night podcast. Usually 8 p.m. Eastern Time-ish.
Been better.
It's been better. But please check them out on Friday nights for things occult. The topics are occult on Friday night. And we are Two Pondering Pagans on YouTube and Facebook, and Two Pondering Pagans on Twitter. I'm Rook Tempest, 2 words on YouTube, and Rook_Tempest on Instagram. This guy next to me, Mystic Salann on Twitch, and Salann, first word, second word, Tawin, Salann Tawin on YouTube. Thank you again for spending part of your Memorial Day weekend with us. Remember, we honor all those that weren't able to come home and be safe this weekend, and do things you like. You never know how long you got. If you're thinking about doing something, do it.
Hail y'all. Salve omnes. Salvete omnes. Can't talk either.
Salvete omnes.
Salvete omnes.